everyone, my name's Sean. I am one half of Pocket Pulp. We are making a platformer for the GBA, and I wanted to see how other platformers solve the problem of physics. And what better game to compare against than Super Mario Bros. 3, which is one of the best platformers of all time. This project called Southbird, they have disassembled the game. What that means is that I can read the source code of Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, the downside is that Super Mario Bros. 3 was written for the NES in assembly. So this code is 6502 assembly, which is very annoying and at times really difficult to read. So what I did was convert that into JavaScript, which is much easier to read. And because of that, I am able to have a little demo here of Mario. This is the same physics as Mario, the same behavior. And the source code is on GitHub, so it's actually very easy to read. And it's only, the core physics is only about 160 lines from about here to about here. So very short amount of code. So if you are a programmer, you can go in here and actually see this is how Nintendo has solved these different problems. You can play with this online. You can just kind of jump around and you can edit the level and you can change the simulation speed and kind of goof off. And then if you're a programmer, you can clone the repo and you can change the code and play with it. How Nintendo works with Super Mario Bros. 3 is that they let the player move wherever the player wants to move, and then they eject the player if they're in a bad location. So let me give you an example. I'll put a block here, and if I line up my head, so just so you understand what you're looking at here, there are different colored pixels here. There's the white, there's the red, and there's the yellow, and there's red on the bottom here too. And the white is the player location. It's not really terribly useful to look at visually. The red and the yellow, though, are for collision detection. So what it does is it looks, is there a solid tile at this specific location? So one thing you'll notice, if I go here and I jump, I bonk my head, and that's because that red pixel is hitting the tile. But if I go right here and jump, the red pixel, when I jump, it won't hit that tile. And I'm going to slow it down, and then we'll see what happens. So what you can see that Mario gets pushed to the right. It's really interesting. So this is important behavior for a platformer. You don't want to be overly rigid with your physics because it can be frustrating. So imagine you're a player and you want to jump through a little gap. If this rectangle was simulated perfectly, you would bonk your head here, right? But that's really not fun. Typically platformers have some sort of forgiveness there. And how Nintendo implemented it was that it allows you to move into this invalid location, and then this yellow pixel, when it's inside the wall, will slowly, over the course of a couple frames, push you to the right so that you can be in a valid position. So let's just watch it again, and you can see during that movement, that yellow pixel is inside the wall. It's not, it's not making sure it's always the player's not always in a valid position. In those moments, the player is in an invalid position, but it's trying to correct the player and put them in the right spot. So this sort of sponginess is really interesting. Another example is if I make a little platform here and jump on top of it. You can see my feet. I have 2 feet pixels, and as I walk towards the ledge, my left foot is going to come off the ledge, and because of that, I'm going to start falling into an invalid position, and then my yellow pixel is going to go into the wall and then eject me outwards. So if I just go slightly, you can see that happening, and it's pushing the player out. And like I said, it does this over the course of a couple frames. So the end result is that the player the corner sort of feels rounded for the player, because the player doesn't understand all these little pixels and what's going on. It's just, they just know that when they get close to the edge, they kind of just fall off as though it was like a rounded edge. The same is true if it's harder to demonstrate, but the same is true if you were jumping up to a ledge. So if I, you can see I sort of jiggle as I get close to that corner, because I'm clipping through, and it depends on which pixel is sort of hitting the tile at that moment. let me just do one more slow jump just to demonstrate. Maybe I can get lucky and have a good demonstration. Oh, perfect, right? So you can see how you clip through the floor temporarily. One other thing that I thought was interesting too was because of their behavior, of this like philosophy of let the player move where they want and then eject them when they're in a bad location. If you hit enter, you can turn into small Mario. So this is the same physics, but you're just a different size for small Mario. And if I had a little tunnel here, this is no problem. I bonk my head like normal. But if I hit enter as though I had collected a mushroom, you can see you actually get ejected out. And that code is very deliberate. It always ejects you to the right. It's checking this top red pixel, and if this red pixel is inside something, it just pushes Mario to the right, and it disables all your inputs. Even though it's intentional, this is something that people do abuse in the game to clip through walls and stuff like that. How I've seen it is, there's a question block here, and you can duck jump into there and then release duck, and then you'll clip through the end. Now, this is actually a larger level. If I zoom out, I've just zoomed in so you could see those pixels. So I actually have a larger playing field here to run around and jump. But anyways, thanks for watching, and subscribe to our channel because we're in the process of building a platformer now, and we're gonna continue to share sort of our journey as we do that. So thanks for following along. See you later.